I've been trying to get more into the minimalist mentality again, and I have noticed kind of a cultural shift from the maximalism that we've been seeing to a general focus on minimalism outside of just myself. I'm sure there's connections to the economy and trends with all of this, but that's not what this video is about. While minimalism has often been condensed down to an aesthetic choice, that's not the part of it that I've found personally beneficial. And this year I've been thinking about it more, especially as I'm looking to move abroad and really need to pare down my essentials. I'd always appreciated how minimalism helped me declutter my life. And over the last few years, I've really felt myself kind of drifting away from that. More on that later. But now that I'm getting ready for a big move abroad, I have been trying to reconnect with that philosophy. Rewind about a decade. I'm living in Austin, Texas, in a tiny, tiny studio apartment that barely has enough room for a dinner table. While living in that studio apartment, I really got an overwhelming ick from just the amount of belongings I had taking up space. Took that opportunity to unburden myself of all the things that I had been moving around from apartment to apartment for years and that I never used. And I used this time in the smaller apartment to part with a lot of the things that I did not need or use or want anymore. For a lot of these things, it was like old posters that I had on my wall when I was a teenager that I had just been moving and never using. Old band t-shirts that had shrunk and no longer fit, weren't really my style and maybe weren't in the best shape. And also just like little tchotchkes that I collected for like the last 10 to 15 years. That were just there, but I kind of didn't even look at. And what worked really well for me with these is that I just took a picture of each of these, each shirt, poster, little tchotchke thing. I saved those photos so I could still have the memories associated with them, but then they fit on my hard drive. So they actually take up no physical space. And so when I got rid of those items, I still had the memories associated with them. And then I was kind of forced to double down on minimalism because I was moving back to Ohio from Austin and I could only take what would fit in my Honda Civic. And what I've noticed in the time since then is that the more stressed I am about things, the more I just buy useless things that I don't need. And I know I'm definitely not alone in that. And thankfully over the last couple of years, I've gotten a lot better about that, but I do still have a lot of those belongings that I've collected in that time. Add on to that, the fact that I have gotten 3 cats, one was an accident, since then, and they have their perches and their toys in their beds. And as the clutter around me increased, my generalized anxiety definitely did as well. And now I want to make the most of this opportunity moving abroad to get rid of the things I don't need and also just to like refresh my cat trees when I get there. So as I pack up my things and decide what I want to take with me, what I want to send to storage in my grandma's, and what I want to get rid of, I'm just trying to be extremely intentional about what I do with everything. But on that, as I'm getting ready to go live in Greece for a while, I'm just trying to be extremely intentional about what I'm bringing. Not just for the lack of space, but also because I know I'll just feel better in general when I'm there if I don't have a bunch of crap I don't need. And since my cats are taking up carry-on space, I'm left with one checked bag. So I'm really gonna have to pare down my belongings to the essentials, which definitely requires me to be just very purposeful in every single item. Which for me is mostly books, clothes, and coffee gear, and obviously whatever I have to bring for the cats. But that's just been a lot of time and thought over the last month and for the next few weeks of really kind of taking stock and account of my belongings and the value I find in them. And honestly, I'm a little relieved that just having this very limited space puts like a clear constraint on me that I have to stick to. That said, please feel free to share in the comments any tips you have about reconnecting with minimalism or any suggestions you have for packing to move abroad for many months, because I can use all the help I can get. Thanks for sticking around till the end. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. And if you're interested in watching some more intentional travel related videos, check that one out.